So this video we're talking about how to sort of come... He's yawning again.
It's a heavy topic.
It is a heavy topic. It is a heavy topic. We're talking about how to come back from when you've messed up. Whether it was a big mess up, like you had an affair, or a little mess up, like you can't follow through. And that's kind of a big mess up overall.
Or any kind of addiction issue.
Yeah, any kind of addiction issue, whether it be gaming, porn,
gambling,
drinking, anything,
drugs.
drinking, any of those things that deteriorate that connection that we talked about in the last video. Because if you have that connection, chances are you're not going to have this problem. And we put that video as number 2 because we wanted to help you understand the importance of that connection. And now we're going to help you hopefully repair if you don't have that connection or you're struggling because of other issues. So I guess we could talk about the biggest ones first. I suppose the biggest one would be somebody cheats.
Yeah.
And in that case, and we've had situations where we've talked and worked with clients that and worked with friends, known friends, where that's been a problem. And so what it comes down to is you have to decide: do you want to fix it? Is the cheating done? Are you done? Like and by that I mean, like, you have to walk away. If you're the person who cheated, you have to cut all ties with that person. And so if it's somebody who works for you, you're going to have to fire that secretary and get somebody else. If it's somebody you work for, you're going to have to look for a new job. If it's somebody that you see every week, you're going to have to figure out how to not see them. You have to cut all ties in order for that other partner to really trust.
Yes.
Because you've broken... I think what's hard is people go, well, it's just sex. You've broken every trust that other person had in you. Every trust. And I can't think of anything bigger except for murder.
Or
beating somebody like that. Violence that is worse than adultery.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying like judgmental, like, oh, you were an adulterer, you're a horrible person. I'm just saying, as far as your trust connection goes, you've got to do everything possible, and it may not be fixable. So I think that's the first thing you have to go: is this fixable?
I think it's more common than I used to think.
I think it is too. I think we have a lot more. There's a lot more temptations. There's a lot more easy ways to. So was it an affair of the heart and mind, or was it an affair of the body? So there's, and both are a huge violation of trust. Even if you never met this person, but man, you sexted back and forth, or you've been talking to them and your partner didn't know, for months and months, and you've had this online relationship or whatever, it's still trust. It's still a huge trust. And it's because when you are in a love-making relationship, you bear everything. You're open and vulnerable. So to have that broken, that's huge. I honestly, I don't know if I could come back from that. I think I would really struggle. As a cleric who needs to be in charge of everything, I think it would rock my world to its core. And I don't know many people who have been through it who it didn't rock their world completely. So whether, and it does not matter. Honestly, it does not matter if it was he's not paying attention to me, so I went and did this, or she's not paying attention to me, so I went and did that. Because there again, your communication is wrong. There's not an excuse. If you are in a committed relationship or you're married and you have not made the other person aware of this issue, then there's just not an excuse for it. Because you're blindsiding them. And so I think that it's important to, like I said, decide whether or not it's fixable. Both sides have to be in on whether or not it's fixable. Like if you were cheated on, then you have to really ask yourself, can I recover? And if you can't recover, you got to be honest with your partner, soon to be ex-partner. I don't think I can recover from this. And if you were the person who cheated, you need to be honest and say, I cheated, I screwed up, it was really bad, whatever excuses coming up in your head. But you need to decide whether or not you want to stop the activity. And my parents divorced when I was 9. And it was after, like, the straw that broke the camel's back. And I can remember, because I was 9, I was old enough to remember some things. And it had a huge impact on me. My father, my birth father, not my stepdad, who I love dearly, but my birth father was a huge womanizer. Huge womanizer. I didn't realize until I was like a teenager how much wreckage he caused for my mom. And so I remember I was like 9 years old, and I totally forgotten about this. I wasn't even going to talk about this, but I totally forgot about this. I was 9 years old, and it was late at night on a Sunday, and my mom and she said, I need to go somewhere, and I need you to take a book because you're going to have to sit in the car. And it was late at night, so I remember like sitting in the car like with a flashlight reading this book, and I was in the car for probably an hour while she was inside this house, and I had no idea where we were. And it went on and on and on, and I ended up like falling asleep, and then she came and got back in the car, and it was like more than an hour later, and I said, are you going to tell me where we are? And I remember being 9 and being really confused, and she said, that is the house where your sister lives. And I was like, excuse me? What? My birth father had had an affair, and then it resulted in a child, and that was where that child lived. And the mother had contacted my mom because she was still married to my dad, and she had no idea. She had no idea. So this woman had contacted my mom, and my mom was like, I need to see this kid.
Yeah.
I have other siblings from my birth father. All of us have the same like facial markers. You can pick us all out of a lineup. We all look enough alike that it's no mistake. Mm-hmm. And so my mom was like, I had to go see. And so that was it was a huge burden for me to take on at 9, and I would never do that to one of my children. But I remember the hurt in her voice, and I didn't ask a whole lot about it because I was a kid. But then as a teenager, we had talked about it, and I remember her saying that he had cheated like 10 times that she knew of. And that was the only child that she knew of. And so it rocks families. If you don't think that your mistake rocks your children's lives, think again. Because yes, we all make mistakes, and yes, we can come back from them. But you've got not just your partner to come back from, you've also got your children that are going to eventually find out. And you've got to come back from that. There's trust all around that you've got to fix. So to fix that trust, you best do whatever he or she asks you to.
Yeah.
You know, I think there was a couple that I knew once, and the therapist had said that. You've got to pick something that he can do every week to show you that he's building trust. And for her it was, he needs to bring me flowers every Friday. And I think they did it for like a year or so, and then he couldn't do it anymore. And it wasn't just about bringing the flowers. It had to be, you know, he has to bring it with love. He has to be thinking about her when he's getting the flowers.